Hello, everyone. Whoa, this is bright. Whatever. Hey, everyone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lauren. I am jumping on tonight to do something a little bit different. I don't want to do readings tonight. Well, I am going to be doing readings, but I want to just shift the energy a little bit because of all of the coronavirus stuff that's happening. Hey, Phoebe, welcome. And because of all the coronavirus stuff that's been happening, I'm sure all of you intuitives, all of you empaths out there are really struggling. And so I've just been called to jump on. I was almost going to do it over the weekend, but I've been called to just jump on and talk about a lot of things. And I've just been in the very receptive state the last couple of days, just getting information from my guides of like what needs to be communicated around this whole mess. So I'm going to start tonight just by kind of relaying that message. So if you're watching replay, hopefully this live video will pertain to you even more. But anyone joining me live too, again, I'm just going to be talking about the coronavirus and how we can all manage our energy, manage the craziness that's happening. I am so bright right now. I'm just going to fix this. Sorry. Much better. Okay. So yeah, I just want to kind of give these messages tonight. If you do want a reading, I will be on for a while just kind of chatting. But tonight, I just wanted it to be more of a support group for all of us that are empathic, intuitive, and just really feeling this energy and how negative it is. And so if you want a reading tonight, I'm only going to be doing paid readings through Venmo. So all I'm asking is just like a $2 minimum donation. Send it to me through my Venmo, which I have the description, or I have that link in the description. And I can stop blabbing and we can definitely do readings tonight. Yes, I totally agree, Phoebe. And that's a lot of the messages. Like, I just feel so like pushed by my guides to like get on and talk about this. So I'm just gonna get started. Let's see, where do I even want to start? I pulled like 4 different cards or 4 different card spreads, but basically this whole thing, I think our guides are really trying to invite us to get out of lack mentality thinking. And I've talked about this. It was funny because last week, the live readings we did were all about abundance. So I think I could feel that energy coming. I would say abundance is the opposite of lack mentality and how we can sort of combat it. But let's talk about lack mentality. Lack mentality is just when you are in this negative mode of everything is wrong, nothing is right, you're panicking, you're very much in a, I'm lacking this, I don't have XYZ. And when you're in that position, you have a lot harder time inviting positivity into your life because you're so focused on all the things going wrong that the universe is just sending you more and more of what's going wrong, if that makes sense. And so I think this whole thing has been a huge lesson for us all in getting out of lack mentality. And I really, truly feel like this whole coronavirus thing has happened because we need to stop and look at a lot of things in our life that we have been ignoring. And so I want to go over a few of those. And so, yeah, I think the abundance mindset is just a huge challenge. And I'm just reading off of my like late night notes when I'm like sitting and meditating and communicating with my guides. I write down all these notes. But the bigger thing is like, we also need to make sure we are watching how we are responding to all of this. If we are responding negatively, then we're just creating this effect. We're going round and round in circles. We're just adding to it and making ourselves feel worse. So it's very important that we get out of that. Phoebe says the earth is so beautiful. We need to do our shadow work and spend time in nature. Yes, Phoebe, that's like literally one of the things that I've written down. So the first message I got is definitely that social media is toxic. Just as I'm talking to coworkers, as I'm talking to my husband, as I'm watching like some of the vloggers that I follow on YouTube, everyone is like talking about how they'll get online and they'll be feeling great, and then all of a sudden they'll just get inundated with all the news and all of the junk. And I'm kind of anti-social media to begin with, and I really only get on for my business and when I want to like reach out to you guys, but otherwise I try to stay off of it. But when we all get on social media and when everyone is dumping the negativity in there, it's like Facebook, not so much Instagram, but Facebook really just becomes this like negativity section. And when you're sitting on it for hours and hours, it can just be a lot. And because everyone is posting about it, it's just worse right now. And so I think we're seeing really how much time we're spending on social media is the problem. And really the content has changed. It's become more negative, yes. But I think we're so in a habit of going to work, coming home, being on our phones, being on social media. And now that we're forced to like be home, like I know not everyone is quarantined. Is anybody quarantined out there? I don't think the US is. But hey everyone, just talking about coronavirus and some of the messages that I've just been getting from my spirit guides that have been so loud and clear lately. They're like, you need to get online and you need to talk about this. And I'm just like, okay. But yeah, I think the social media crap is just, because we are stuck in like our homes, we're not getting the distance from it that we normally would. We can't go out and have a meal. We can't go to the movies. And so we're stuck in front of our phones so much more. And so it's making us all of it seem a lot worse. So I think the number one first message from our guides is to get off social media. And this is a good rule in general. One of the things I started practicing when this is so blue. Hang on. I have to fix this. Aha. Okay. I'm such a stickler for bad lighting. It's the filmmaker in me. Sorry. It drives me nuts that I have both blue and orange light. What was I saying? But yeah, guys, if you want a reading tonight, I'm going to be doing Venmo only. So send me a donation through Venmo and I will get a reading to you. Phoebe says, definitely my guys told me to delete my accounts and stop watching the news. Yes. And I don't think it's the news that's necessarily the problem. It's just everyone's afraid of stuff. And so it's the natural thing to talk about. And again, what was I going to say? That this is a great exercise, even when all of this is over, of only checking your email 3 times a day. I got this from my intuitive, my intuitive life coach. And this was one of the rules she put on me, is like, you really only need to get on the news and check your email 3 times a day. You can do it once right at the beginning of the workday, once maybe right after lunch, and then once towards the end of the workday. Everything else can stay on hold. You will not miss anything. And if you really are paranoid about getting certain types of alerts, you can send those directly to your email or set something up. I have an app on my phone that shuts my email off after 6 p.m. So I'm no longer dealing with work. So you can do this with social media. You can set it up on your phone so that you're not getting notifications after a certain time period. And if you're forcing yourself to only get on 2 or 3 times a day, then it's going to lessen that negativity that you're in front of all the time. So first huge message from my guides. I noticed this because I was sitting on my phone. My husband was sitting on my phone for like 2 or 3 nights in a row. And I was like, I have all of this forced free time and this is how I'm spending it. And then we would just get off our phones and be like, oh my gosh, everything sucks. And it would be so draining. And I think that was like, I heard that from multiple people. So I knew that was one of the things our guides wanted to communicate to us. So the next thing that I think our guides are trying to get us to pay attention to with all of this coronavirus stuff is about setting a new routine. This is the most optimal time for us to get into a better routine. And one of the things that I realized was, okay, I wasn't working out as much as I should have been. And I realized that I woke up in the morning and I checked my email right away. I was not following that rule that I was just talking about. And at the end of the day, even though I'd come home from work, I'd still get on the TV or the social media or something like that. And I was kind of wasting my hours. And it wasn't until I was forced to be home and I was forced to not have the opportunity to go shopping or to go out to a movie that I realized how much that I do this. So this is such a great time for us to change our routine. And I would highly recommend the first and the last hour of the day for you to leave that no phones. Wake up, have a cup of coffee. Even if you can, like, go eat breakfast, like out on your porch, if you have a porch, or outside. Take the time to just set the intention for the day without just immediately jumping into work, without immediately jumping onto social media. And that's going to be my challenge for this whole coronavirus thing, is like, I really want to stop starting my day with social media. Yes, Phoebe, and we need to be playful while we have this time inside. I've been painting a lot. I should have brought my painting that I've been working and showing you guys. But yeah, playing games. And that's kind of where I was starting this whole thing, was I was just like sitting around not doing anything. And I was like, I have so many projects that I want to get to right now. And I have the perfect opportunity to do that. And I'm not doing it. What have your guides been saying about what's going to happen overall? Oh, I haven't even thought about that or asked about that. So I'll go ahead and pull more cards on that, Phoebe. Don't let me forget. So yeah, setting a new routine was like the second biggest thing. The third thing was getting outside. I don't know about you guys where you all are living, but it is so nice in Colorado right now. Technically we're going to get snow tomorrow, but it's been super nice. And I think that I realized how cooped up I keep myself. And, you could go out, you could walk your dog, you could just hang out outside. I have one of my big, huge projects is I'm remodeling my shed outside. And so I've been doing that over the weekend, and it's been so nice to get outside. And so I feel like a lot of this has been, I don't want to say like our guides caused the coronavirus, or I don't want to say the whole coronavirus happened because we needed to do all these things, but I truly think there's some element of the coronavirus that is like a stop sign. Like, this whole thing is a stop sign. Our guides are trying to get us to slow down and listen to a bunch of these messages. We're too much on our phones. We're not outside enough. We're not taking care of ourselves. We need to disconnect. We need to pull back. And that's so hard to do. Hi, Mama Odie. Thanks for coming on over to my channel. Thanks so much. We're doing things a little different tonight. If you want a reading, send me a donation of at least $2 through Venmo. Link in the description. I will do readings that way tonight. Otherwise, I'm just giving this sort of general vomit of information from my guides that I've just been feeling about this whole coronavirus thing and how we can manage our energy. I feel like the first couple days of all of this were really rough for me, just being super empathic. I was letting everyone else's energy in, and but then as soon as I stopped and recognized what was going on, put up my boundaries, kind of put away my phone, and have been handling it a lot better, I'm just seeing everyone else really struggling. And so I wanted to get on and talk about it tonight. Mine have been saying it's the end of ending and the start of new beginnings. Interesting, Phoebe. That's awesome. Do you feel coronavirus is man-made? Well, I might have a bias there, AP. I know my husband is a very logical-minded person. He's a Virgo. I'm a Pisces. We're like exact opposites. But he has done a god-awful amount of research on this. And we know it's from animals being bred or being in captivity that are not in good conditions, and that's how viruses start. I don't want to say that's how all viruses start, but that's how this one started. And they're not sure if it came from the pangolin or a bat or one other animal, but it was basically like an animal in China that had poor conditions. They know it came from an animal, and that's why it's new, and that's why people are so susceptible to it, because it's a completely new thing that us humans haven't been exposed to yet. Cool. Anyway, what was I saying? But yeah, getting outside was the third thing. Not as big as some of the other stuff. The fourth thing was relationships. I don't know about you guys, but this has made me realize how much I've been neglecting my relationships with people. First, with my husband, I realized again how all of our routine. I'm 6 months pregnant. We're like 3 months away from having a baby. And I just got into crazy mode of like, I need to get all this crap done before baby comes. And I think that a lot of my mentality was just get things done. And I was neglecting the relationship for my husband. And so I was sitting around and it's like, we have all this time together. Let's spend it together. And so I think another reason why this is all happening is we need to pay attention to our relationships a little bit better. And I kind of feel like, not everyone is going to do this, and the coronavirus is not going to end unless we do all of these things. But I truly think that anytime there's a huge hurdle for all of us in the universe, it's very much a huge stop sign from the universe of, hey, you need to pay attention to this. Pay attention to why this is happening. Again, I do think that it's caused by animals and all of that, and there is a very biological reason behind it for sure. But I think that the synchronicities and why things happen, there's always a reason behind it that has more than just the one reason, if that makes sense. So the cards I pulled, I saw you were going live, so I thought I would hang out. Woohoo! Yes. And so the cards I pulled, I said, okay, guys, what do we all need to know about the coronavirus? Like, what is the biggest thing? I love this card. It's round and round. And this card is feeling like you are going in circles, which I totally feel that energy. It's that cooped up energy. It's the feeling like, oh my gosh, we're never going to get out of this. And what the message here is that's not true. And even though it feels like we're going around and around, we are seeing it from a higher perspective. And so when you're feeling these moments of, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going crazy, stop, pull yourself out of it, come from an observer perspective and ask, what can I do to get out of this habit? And I think a lot of the stuff that's happening that's making us cooped up and crazy is because we need to switch some of our habits. And I feel like there was something else I wanted to say about this card, and I can't remember. So let me just look at this. I'm just looking at the little booklet. Lessons that aren't quite integrated, cycles you need to break. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Was I feel like the whole social media thing for me is like really bad. And so I think when I'm feeling cooped up and crazy, it's usually because I'm on social media. And so it's my guides forcing me to be like, how else can I be productive with my night? Maybe I'll jump on YouTube. Maybe I will work out. Maybe I will spend some quality time with my husband. And so I think this card, whenever you feel like you're going round and round, stop and ask yourself, how can I get out of this pattern? I'm convinced it was created in a laboratory somewhere. No. Unfortunately, this all comes back to poor animal living conditions, which is why I did go vegetarian for a while. But then I did not have the willpower. And so the next card I pulled from our guides of like, what do we need to know about this whole thing? Like, what are the major takeaways? And it was time for a nap. which totally makes sense. We all need a break, apparently, and this is a very forced one by the universe. And so my personal story around that, you guys can share. Did you guys really need like a break? Because I needed one. I was trying to do too much too fast, and I was really just not taking care of myself. And so I think that this card is also just a confirmation that, okay, you're cooped up, but this is just the way it is. So you can fight it or you can take advantage of it. And really, again, this is where I come back to that routines. It's like, take the time to reestablish your routine. Maybe you decide in the morning, every morning, that you're going to work out before you head to work. This is such a perfect time where the universe is helping you stay at home and fix anything you want to be fixing. And that's such a great opportunity. I love a good conspiracy theory. Save me 2 seconds. Oh, you have better willpower than I do, Phoebe. That's awesome. And then the last card I pulled was the Fates. And it's in reverse, and I always get it wrong. So I'm just going to double check myself. Yeah, sorry, guys. I also cut my finger when I was doing things, and I can't thumb through things very fast. Okay, so I'm just going to read this. So the Fates. It is difficult to understand why painful things happen to good people. Fate is a mystery, after all. Yet what we do with our circumstances, the way in which we respond to life's challenges, is how we rise up to greet our destiny. Now is one of those times to be aware of your powerlessness, to change certain situations and surrender to acceptance. Hang in there, life will only get better. I feel like that is just like the perfect card. It's talking about surrendering. It's talking about how you feel like you have no control. But it's in the way in which we respond. And so if you're feeding into the negativity, if you're allowing yourself to be online, stressing out about it, if in conversations you are constantly talking about the coronavirus and how awful it is and how much work you're losing or how much money you're losing, you're just feeding that energy. And so our guides want us to really understand that this is a lesson in how to respond. And so I talk a lot about abundance, and I really should make a video about just how we respond to things. But you all know those people in your life that no matter what happens, they react to it in a negative way. They can't possibly react in a way other than a negative one. And so one of the biggest things that I kind of believe in spiritually is that everything that happens in our lives it's neutral. There's no emotion assigned to it. We decide if it's bad. We decide if it's good. And so you can look at some of the worst situations and you can decide, you know what, this is happening for a reason, and I'm going to look at it for that reason. And I'm going to look at it in that way, in a positive way. Or you can be like everyone else and be like, you know what, everything's going to shit. The world's ending. We're all going to die, and you can just sit there and be in that energy. But I think, again, anything can be positive or negative. Everything is naturally neutral, if that makes sense. I just want to catch up on the comments. I had already gone into a huge withdrawal from human contact. Oh, yes. I go through that too, Mama Odie. And that's why I jumped on, was like, all of us that are empaths, that are intuitives, it's so important that we set our boundaries during this time, and we're really concentrating on how we can manage our energy with this whole coronavirus crap. When is it going away? Can you tell us? Well, I'm going to get to that in a bit, because I think Phoebe asked that question, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I haven't even thought about that. But yeah, so to kind of cap it off, remember whenever you're having a moment where you feel like you're going crazy, where things are going round and round and you're never going to get better, stop and ask, am I setting a habit right now that I need to break? And then take advantage of the break. Take a nap is what this card is. And again, reset your routine. Like, if there's anything you can do right now, we're all forced to be right home. I've decided the first hour and the last hour of the day, I'm not going to be on my phone. And I'm going to take the time to eat breakfast outside if I can. And there's just something about being in the sunshine in the morning that'll start your day, and not looking at your email the first thing when you get up. It's so much better. And it says to you, your brain, that, all of that stuff is not important. Your well-being and yourself, your health is the most important. And then again, lastly, remembering that this is happening, it's out of your control. That's okay. But how do you respond? Are you going to respond negatively, or are you going to respond positively? Are you going to ask, what good can come of this? Where is the lesson in this? And I think that there's personal lessons for all of us in this. So really pay attention, go inward, meditate. I'm a huge advocate for meditating, and that is like all I've been doing the last couple of days to kind of sort through my emotions. Not everyone likes to meditate, but I would highly recommend it. I would get the Calm app, CALM, yeah. And they have some they only have a few free meditations, but even those ones, getting your brain off of all of this crap at the end of the night will help you sleep a lot better. I'm trying to think if there were any other general messages from our guides. I have a tarot card app on my phone, and so I often use that, and I save a lot of the readings. Oh no, but did I totally forget to save it? I bet I did. Load reading. This is the Goddess Guidance Oracle deck. I don't know if you guys can even see it, but yep. Oh no, I did save it. Woohoo! Okay, so the current situation, you have infinite supply. These messages are just, dang it, you can't see it. But these messages just make so much sense, and they all just correlate. Infinite supply. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. All of us that are stressed out about work and not making money, we have to remember to stay in an abundance mindset. Watch the video I made on abundance and lack mentality. It's in my YouTube channel. I think that our guides are just kind of calling us to remember that, again, is how you respond. And if you're constantly thinking about what you don't have, then your thoughts create your reality. And with the law of attraction, if you're constantly thinking about negative things, you're only going to see the negative things. And then your guides are just going to keep sending you negative stuff because that's what they think you want, because you just keep putting it out there. So being grateful for what you have. And then this is all just reiterating it. I don't want to go into it too deep, but it was like quiet time, take some time to love yourself, to take a break, asking for help. And then it said the outcomes, this is sort of answering somebody's question, was fairness, that the situation will be handled in a just and fair manner. And so I find that very interesting that card was pulled, because fairness in a whole like coronavirus situation, what could that be interpreted as? And I was sort of taking that as whatever we're worried about. Maybe we're worried about losing money, about bills or something. We're all going to help each other out. We all understand what's going on. It will be handled fairly. You will get through this. And then the last, I have one more deck, the Kuan-Yin Oracle deck. So let's see if I saved 317. Is that? Yep. And I think this is basically the same thing. I've been working with my guides so much over the last couple of days, you guys. It's been ridiculous. It's basically saying you're coming to the threshold, you're in a really shitty spot, but you know what? You can only go up from here, and you can only see the positive, and that's what's going to help you. And it's talking you to draw from your strength. Yeah, I think we got the message. Phoebe says, I feel it's karma. Okay, so let's ask. I want to ask when is it going to end, but obviously it's not going to have a month or a date on here. So I'm going to ask instead, how do we know it's about to end? And then I'm going to ask, how can we help it end? Okay. How will we know when it's going to end? And then what can we do to help it? And for all of you joining me tonight, I'm not going to do my typical readings tonight just because I wanted to get this message across and really make it available to a lot of people watching replay. But if you do want a reading, send me a donation through my Venmo. And I've got that information in the description. And I will make sure you guys get a reading tonight. Even if like a $2 donation, like that's awesome and welcomed. So what did I ask? I asked, how will we know when it's about to end? Oh my gosh. I feel like this is so like duh, but our guides are kind of like, we need to not worry about that. We need to like, I just keep hearing them being very stern. Like, it's how you respond. Live now. Like, don't get in lack of mentality is very much like, I cannot be happy until XYZ. And a lot of us are saying, I cannot be happy until this coronavirus goes away. I cannot be happy until I go back to work. I cannot be happy until I have more toilet paper. Something like that. And so our guides are very like, they're so stern with me over the last couple days. And I know this isn't just like aimed at you. This is aimed at whoever will watch this video. They're just trying to get this message through. And they're saying you're going to know it's over when you're between two worlds, when you're halfway there and you're halfway not. It's like, well, yeah, but so this card is like when you're transitioning from the bleak, you're transitioning it from one phase into the next. And it's that moment where you've kind of got both feet in one in both areas. Like you can feel that it's changing, you can feel that it's turning towards something better, but you're also still like not out of the deep end yet, if that makes sense. So I think that's one of the ways we're going to know that it's almost over. So, you know, who knows when that's going to be, but maybe when that moment comes, it's a sign to keep pushing for the happy end. These cards do not surprise me at all. These messages are coming through so strongly for me. It's ridiculous. How else are we going to know that it's close to being over? And they're basically saying with this card, blessed, it's when you're grateful. It's when you can see the abundance, when you can see the things in your life that's good, when you can change how you're responding to it. So I'm also getting that this is kind of like the action item of what can you do to make it better or feel like it's going by faster. Focus on abundance mentality. Focus on getting rid of lack mentality. It's so important that we get rid of lack mentality and we respond with, how can I make this work for me? How is this going well? What can I do to see this as a lesson? Excuse me. So again, it's like all very much abundance mindset. And if that's a new term for you, please look at, I'm going to just link it down in the comments below, but please look at Deepak Chopra's 21-day meditation challenge. Technically, you have to buy it, but I found it on YouTube completely free. And it's a 21-day meditation challenge. Honestly, I would just listen to it for the lectures that he gives before the meditations, because he puts abundance in such an interesting perspective of like, you can control abundance. You can control how things come to you. And I would just listen to that. So I will put that in the comments below when I'm done. Yes, and you guys can definitely ask questions tonight. Just send me a donation through my Venmo. And that is in my Venmo link is in the description. Yes. Double C. Exactly. It's like, this is just another thing. This could have been anything, but this is a big stop sign in our path that our guides are like, y'all need to pay attention and realign your priorities. Exactly. And so I sort of talked about that in the beginning. If you're just now joining us, I've just got like a huge download of like, this is what you guys need to pay attention to. And all the cards I've been pulling have just been like confirmation of that. And so, yeah, I would say that this is not only you know you're getting close to the end because you're only focused on what's going well, but it is also an action item for what you can do now to start getting to that place. You can start focusing on the positive. You can focus on that abundance. Listen to that 21-day meditation challenge on abundance. I'll put it in the comments below. I think it's I can't tell you guys how much lack mentality I used to have and how much it's changed my life, that I've understood why it happens and I know how to reverse it now. And I feel like I'm only just now starting to get into the pattern of like recognizing it, and at least just at the minimum recognizing it. And every now and then I'll remember to do something about it and kind of switch my perspective on it. So I think that's huge for me. I will talk about it all the time. I'm not the best at describing it. I'm really good at describing psychic development, but abundance is such a big, vague term. And I think Deepak does a much better job than I do. So the last card I pulled is, what can we do to help get it over with quicker? And this is the milk and honey card, which is the abundance card. Milk and honey. It's like there's this little elephant and he's bathing in a bowl of milk and honey. I had to look at it. I was like, what is it? This is when you surround yourself with abundance. It's just like this blessed card. It's focusing on abundance, is focusing on what you have. When you focus on what you have and what you're grateful for, then you're putting out positive vibes to the universe, and the universe picks that up and sends more positivity back to you. It's one of the hardest parts of abundance, because when you feel like you have nothing, it is so hard to concentrate on what you have. But I think when you can start training your mind to do that, it's revolutionary. It changes how you respond to things. You no longer panic about everything. And I think I did a lot of this work 2 years ago. And this is a lot of the reason why I went to a life coach, was I was having horrible panic attacks. I was letting the littlest things bother me. And now stuff like this happens. This is probably a huge thing, probably one of the biggest things that's ever happened in my life. And I'm just like letting it slide off my back. And I'm like, how can I make this positive? How can I get a new routine? How can I work out? How can I get closer to my husband? How can I take a break? So I think, if I haven't reiterated this enough, focus on abundance, you guys. Think about the things that are positive in your life. Disconnect from social media. Notice that anything that you do, any people around you, any social media that's toxic and negative, does have an impact on that abundance mindset. So if you're constantly being around people with lack mentality, it's going to be very hard to kind of put up that boundary and keep that out. So you'll just have to do a lot of extra work, which is why I'm like, thank goodness for being home and having to like get away from people. Excuse me. Phoebe, I totally agree. I honestly believe things are going to be a lot better. Things are going to change for the better. That's what I said when Trump got elected. All the people freaking out, all the Democrats freaking out, oh my God, we're all going to die. It's like, things are going to change for the better. Everything happens for a reason. Not to get all political. Sorry. The world on a lockdown, people are dying. This is bigger than virus. I don't know what you mean by that, but it sounds very lack mentality. Can't think like that. Yes, there are people dying. There are people that are not doing great, but does that mean you should hole up in your life and just make yourself miserable for the rest of forever? I don't think so. I don't think that's worth it. And so exactly like that, it's like there's no way you can block out that energy other than having good boundaries. So remember to take all of these kind of things into consideration, figure out a new routine, make sure to block out negativity in any way possible. If you're really struggling with boundary setting, I have a few videos on my channel about how to set energetic boundaries, and that's a lot for like psychic development, but it does apply to just blocking out other people's energy in general, if that makes sense. Can you talk about the October 16th conjugation too? I am not an astrologer, so I cannot talk about that. I do not know. I've noticed there are a ton of astrologers on YouTube and almost no psychic coaches. So I'm hoping to fill that void. But yeah, I did not study astrology. I studied psychicness. I'm a medium. I'm an animal communicator. I'm a medical intuitive. What else have I done? I've done shamanic stuff. There's no like term that I give myself, but I have taken a ton of shamanic classes. And yeah, but I don't know how to read palms. I don't officially know how to do tarot. I am not an astrologer. Don't know how to do spells. It's crazy how diverse this metaphysical stuff has gotten. I meant conjunction. Yeah, I know what you meant, but I have no idea. You'll have to look at some astrologers on YouTube because I do not know. All I know was that the things that I dumped on you guys, and I feel a lot better now. So I think that's it, guys. Unless somebody wants to get a reading, I think that's it. So I'm trying to remember what were all of my points. Just to sort of cap it off. Get off social media. Get away from that toxic energy. If there's people in your life that are that way, set up boundaries. You set a rule of just not talking about it. I had to say that a couple times with my husband. He would be on his phone or he would be doing a lot of research, and I had to just be like, I don't want to talk about it right now. I'm sorry. Like, I know you're in it, but I can't take it on right now. Take advantage of setting a new routine. Forcing yourself to only look at social media 3 times a day. Have you really missed anything by not getting on every 2 seconds, you know? Saving the last hour right before bed and the first hour when you wake up to spending that time by yourself. Honestly, guys, I would think even about doing a routine at the end of the night. I realized what I did was I would literally watch TV, I would be on my phone, and then I would basically go straight to bed, but I would lay in bed and be on my phone. And one of the things you can do instead is you can put away your phone, set your alarm, and then you can make yourself a cup of tea and sit on the couch for a while and read a book. And then you could like slowly shut off the lights and light some candles and then do a meditation. And then I'm just like making this up as I go. I have like a foot massager at home. You get like a little foot massage right before bed. And then you can like take a bath. And then you can jump into bed and do a meditation. I mean, doesn't that routine sound so much nicer than just like being on your phone, getting into bed, being on your phone, going to sleep, waking up, getting on your phone? So I would really think about ways you can take advantage of this. Work out, do yoga, figure out ways that you need to do something different. Your guides are calling you to get out of your normal habits, get outside. And then also indulge in relationships. And then the biggest ones, don't give in to lack mentality, focus on abundance. And remembering that how you respond to this whole situation is everything. If you are constantly thinking about, oh, poor me, putting yourself in that victim mode, then it's just, you're going to just keep attracting that negativity. And I think I see that a lot around finances and all of these people that are like, oh, I'm going to die, I'm never going to get paid again. And that's such a huge money fear that's getting pushed out there. If you're really terrified about money right now, I highly, highly recommend picking up one of Denise Duffield Thomas's book. I've done a few of my quick reviews on her books. They're all about money mindset, money mentality in relation to abundance. So it's mostly about money and career, but abundance. But just know that abundance applies to everything. It's feeling that you have all your needs and wants taken care of. And you can see that globally, we're just going through a huge lack mentality, a huge lack of abundance mindset. We're all terrified that we're not going to have food, that we're not going to have toilet paper, that we're not going to have money. And so this is what happens I kind of see this as a very cool experiment of, we all know that this happens every day to us individually. But when there's a spirit here, I'll get to you. But when they're very distracting. It's like a little girl, like fairy off here. She's like super high vibe. Where was I at? She's coming. I don't know who she is, but she's coming in to help all of us. We've got fairy guides around us to help us with all of this, you guys. I've totally lost my train of thought. Sorry. Social media, does that include YouTube? I would say yes. So definitely declutter the channels that you're watching. I don't know like what happened with YouTube's algorithm lately, but it is constantly recommending me videos of like animals that are abused but then saved. And those to me are so hard to watch. I can't even watch, even though the animal is saved at the end, I can't watch animals in pain. Like, it's just too much for me. I'm way, way too empathic with animals, way more than people. Like, you show me a video of a person, of a human, I'm like, whatever. But animals are hard. And so my point is, if you're following negative channels, people that are putting out negativity, maybe just unfollow them or just get off. One of the things I talked about in the beginning is you can download apps that set timers on your app use. And so you can be like, okay, I'm only going to give myself 2 hours on YouTube tonight, or 1 hour, whatever it is. Just make sure that it's positive. I'm not saying you guys have to like be a hermit and get away from everything. It's just managing your time and not putting it all into social media. A lot of psychics have been so negative to get views. Ugh, yes. Unfortunately, that's a thing. I had to unsubscribe to some of my favorite channels. Yeah, that's not what we should be doing. We should be helping each other, not scaring each other. That's ridiculous. So yes, okay, I was capping it off until the spirit interrupted me. I think it was just that last thing was knowing that how you respond. I mean, maybe all of this is to me, all of these lessons have been major life lessons I've had to learn in the last year or two. And I'm taking it as a sign, okay, I'm 3 months away from giving birth and I need to remember all of these lessons before baby comes, because they're all going to come into play. So that might not necessarily be the case for you, but maybe there's some of these that are really sticking out to you as like, yeah, I've been struggling with this for a long time. And maybe this is my guides trying to get me back on track. Madam Caroline the Witch, hello, welcome. Hello, sweet pea. She's so cute. Thank you. So yeah, guys, I hope all of those messages help you sleep, help you manage this. Please let me know, in the comments, come back and tell me what you guys' routine is that you set. Just take care of yourself. Put up those boundaries. I'm going to just maybe share a bunch of links in the comments below when I'm done with this. So anybody watching can just be like, oh, boundary setting. I need that. Gosh. Do you think China will shut down their wet markets, which cause the virus to jump from animals to humans? Ooh, I don't know. I hope they do. That's wishful thinking, but because I'm an animal communicator, I'm a huge advocate for taking care of our animal companions. So I am a huge, I hate SeaWorld kind of person, and any animals in captivity, even zoos kind of rub me the wrong way sometimes. But I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't want to be racist, but I'm worried that China would not be able to change their culture in order to do so. But maybe this is their call to think about that more. Maybe they'll learn from this. But that doesn't mean it couldn't have been us. The way that we treat our farm animals and our cows and chickens and stuff like that, it could have easily been us as well. Yeah, because I can't remember where the swine flu started or the bird flu started, but it's always poor living conditions with animals. Anyway, on that somber note, remember to stay positive, you guys. Hopefully I'm still going to be uploading my weekly Friday video. If I feel like getting on more often with live, that might be highly possible just because I'm stuck at home more. If you want to know when I'm going to be on again, I share a link to my Facebook event and I update it there. So if there's any changes, like normally I go live on Wednesdays, obviously it's Tuesday, because I'm going to be doing something tomorrow night. If I change the dates, you'll know if you jump on that Facebook event group. I love animals so much, and I really want to do a video about my animals and like animal communication, but I'm struggling like how to make it into a video. So if you guys ever have any like questions about animal communication and how to communicate with your pets, let me know in the comments, because I would love to do more videos on that. And the only videos I've thought of is like how to keep your dog like entertained. That doesn't really have anything to do with psychic stuff, and you can find stuff like that online all the time. But yeah, and when I was talking about relationships and this whole thing of paying attention to your relationships right now, that includes your animals. Our animals right now are probably so excited that we're all home right now. And they're like, what is this? This is awesome. And so taking care of them and spending good quality time with them is just going to be awesome too. So again, find the silver lining, find the abundance in these situations, ask, where's the lesson? How can I turn this into a positive? Really push out the negativity, push out the negative people, and say, you know what? I have to be here anyway. So how can I turn this into a positive? Maybe you're going to clean up your house. Maybe you're going to get to that project that you've been putting off since forever. Which is a lot of what I'm going to be doing this weekend. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Next week, we'll definitely be on and back to normal readings, so I hope you join me. Other than that, have a great night, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Good night.